Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Achak B'dash. Double honors under the elders, Apostle Great Millstone, the elders Great Millstone, and of course, peace and blessings under the hopeful elect. The sincere servants of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, serve him in truth and sincerity. Yes, from the brother Chayabel from GMS Playing Tables Camp, coming back with another lesson to his spirit. Yes, so this lesson will be based off of this article from nationalnews.com, which is titled, it says, 7.3 magnitude earthquake, nature's fury test Alaska's coastal resilience. And as you can see, there's been an earthquake. And as we know, the scriptures say, prophesied within the scriptures, pretty much was prophesied within the scriptures that there will be earthquakes. And how many earthquakes, has there been in, the very, very recent times? Going back to 2022, 2023, 2024, you had pretty much events you can, big earthquake events that we can recall. Obviously, you had that huge earthquake that happened in 2023 with Turkey that killed thousands of people. Earthquakes in 2024, 2025. You're having earthquakes. You can literally on January 1st, 2024, you had that Japan earthquake. So showing me that we are in those times and what the scriptures prophesy about it. It says a 7.3 magnitude earthquake struck near Sandpoint, Alaska, prompting tsunami warnings across coastal regions. Minimal flooding, 0.2 feet in Sandpoint, led to advisory downgrades, with no significant material damage reported. 40 aftershocks in the, Aleutian region's seismic, says history _ Alaska's vulnerability to powerful quakes. The dual crises highlights the importance of preparedness and resilient infrastructure in disaster-prone regions. And it doesn't matter what you do, you can't hide from the judgment of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Ultimately this can happen at, an earthquake can happen at any moment. So to read this real quick, it says Matthew chapter 24 and 3, it says, and he sat upon Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, it says, tell us when shall these things be? It says, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? It says, verse 4, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come on my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. So the disciples asked Yahushua what the end will look like. What would be a sign that it's the end of the world? And what Yahushua answers, it says, verse 4, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come on my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And you're having a lot of false prophets today. And what does Christ mean? Christ, because of course we say a Mashiach in Hebrew instead of Christ, because that's the name that the world uses, Christ and Jesus, which is not the true name of the Lord. Obviously with the Lord, he had a Hebrew name. He was born in Hebrew. And he was given a Hebrew name. He had Hebrew parents. The angel that came onto Joseph and Mary was speaking Hebrew. So but of course the Heavenly Father, his name is in the Hebrew. So why would his son's name be in Greek or English? Especially English. English didn't even exist 2,000 years ago. And again, the Lord wasn't given a Greek name, because we know Jesus Christ goes back unto Jesus Christos, back, to the Greek. And again, the Lord, he was not born a Greek, he was born a Hebrew. So what Yahushai is his true name, according to the ancient Paleo-Hebrew. The son, and with the Heavenly Father's name, his name is Yahweh, according to the ancient Paleo-Hebrew. So we know Christ, what goes back on the Greek Christos, which means anointed. So we say Hamashiach in in the Hebrew. So it says, Matthew chapter 24:5, for many shall come on my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, or I am the anointed. Because that's what it means. I shall to see many. Yeah, because many people, there's many false prophets who believe that they are of the anointed, which they're not. The only anointed are the true prophets. Well, ultimately, the elect are the only true anointed by Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai. So those, only the elect of the nation of Israel are the true anointed. The ones who the Lord's actually dealing with. It says verse, and shall to see many, So it says, Matthew chapter 24:6, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So, and right now, there's a lot of wars going on right now. Of course, you have Russia, Ukraine, having the recent one, Israel and Iran. Obviously, you had also Israel and Hamas. Just wars happening. Again, there are wars happening in the world right now, showing that we are at those end times. It says, verse 6 again, Matthew chapter 24:6, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So the end is not yet, meaning it's not like World War III is going to kick off tomorrow. The nuclear war is going to pop off tomorrow. Pretty much as soon as you hear about Israel and Iran, going at it, pretty much shooting, missiles upon each other, or, sending missiles back and forth, doesn't mean that the whole world's going to break loose tomorrow. Ultimately, there's still things that need to happen. The big main prophecy we're waiting for is the MOTB. World War III won't happen until the MOTB is mandated, the mark of the beast, which is the RFID CHIP, the chip. It says verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. So Matthew chapter 24:7, it says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be earthquakes and famines and pestilences. It's like it. Read again, it says Matthew chapter 24:7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there should be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. So meaning, these things are happening right now as we speak. Famines. Famine is happening right now as we speak. Pestilences. Obviously, we had that big pestilence that passed, starting end in 2019, beginning of 2020, where you had that big pestilence. And earthquakes. And there's a lot of earthquakes happening right now as we speak. It says in diverse places, meaning in various places. So while you're having earthquakes in Europe, obviously earthquakes in America, earthquakes in Asia, showing you that these prophecies are being fulfilled, and it shows that we are at the end. Especially all these things happening, tech, AI, and Esau, just getting ready to come down like a madman sparing none. Preparing his AI and his robots, and we see it. And meanwhile, Esau's doing all this. Again, it's a lot of things happening around the world as we speak. It says verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Because ultimately there's still a lot more to come. But that does not mean that's going to take 5 more years for these things to pop off. No, again, we're at that time where these things are very, very close. Again, right now as we speak, we're You know, it's a lot of these things already happening. But what we're waiting for when all hell breaks loose, anarchy. You know, just everything at its max, which is again is very very soon. All it takes is one event. Hey, and that's it. And what ultimately we know that's what Esau's gonna do. Ultimately, what they want that great. You already know reset. So that what and with that, as the saying goes, order out of chaos, meaning order out of chaos. So Esau brings order out of chaos, meaning what he ultimately what he's gonna bring these things, which ultimately it's not Esau doing it, it's Yahweh Bashim Yahushai doing it. As we know, the Lord uses Esau as a sword. So this 2 Ezra chapter 9:1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest sign, there's like it says, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Yeah, so we're measuring the time right now, of course, by these scriptures, linking up the current events to, again, what we are given through the scriptures, what Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has told us, has given us, and what we get that by what his words, this book, which of course which is the Lord's book. It says verse 3, or verse 2 again. It says 2 Ezra chapter 9:2. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Exactly. So we are in that time. Again, when the Heavenly Father Yahweh sent back his son Yahushai. It says verse 3, therefore when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people, then shalt thou well understand that, it says, verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Exactly. So again, we are in those times, and what Yahushai has told us is prophesied within the scriptures already, that these things will happen. So hey, all we're doing is just living it up. So yeah, I believe it's a point. Point is, again, earthquakes are happening as prophesied, and you know what? Along with the earthquakes, there's much more, of course, other things that are happening right now as we speak. Again, famine, pestilence, wars. Nation against, as I said, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Scriptures also prophesy how there will be civil war, and we already see how that's brewing up. The hearts of many are waxing cold. Again, and so this all scriptural, this all prophecy. That the MOTB being mandated is very, very near, and we can see that, you know, with the big jumps that Esau's doing. So yeah, I believe that's the point. Lord's really blessed and edified. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kakadosh Brakatham. Shalom.